Hey, this is Abhishek, and welcome to my channel. Today I am going to try and motivate you to write a letter. So I've been thinking about what to do on my channel, and I think one of the things I'm going to try is to do some kind of journaling or writing motivations. What that means for today is that I'm going to invite you to write a letter to a teacher. Why to a teacher? Well, it's just what I'm trying to write today, and I'm just going to try to, you know, maybe influence you to do the same. There's a teacher that I have in mind, and I actually already set up some bullet points on what I want to write. So what I'll do is kind of talk a little bit about the intention of writing a letter, and then we're going to have about a 30-minute block of body doubling session where I am writing the letter, and then in the end of it maybe a short reflection on what we did. So in this time, what I invite you to do is you don't actually have to mail this letter. I intend to mail this letter. This is going to England, but you don't have to. Letter writing is sort of another form of long-form journaling that I find very helpful. You could take this time to think of a teacher that really influenced your life and kind of write a sort of a gratitude piece. It could be just something you write in a notepad and never mail. It could be something you write in your journal. It could be something you actually put in a piece of paper and put it in an envelope and send the mail. It could be a teacher that you saw or work with recently. It could be a teacher that was someone you worked with many years ago. I am writing to somebody who I worked with probably 10, 12 years ago. I never met this person in person, but they were an influential part of my time at that time. This was related to a hobby I had, so we only did online classes. So I thought it'd be a nice way for me to find that gratitude towards people like that teacher that I had, and kind of jot down some points about what I wanted to write to them. You could do the same. Look, it's not something everybody has every day. I get it that you don't really know the addresses of your teachers. This person is kind of an online personality, so I'm sure I can find an address for them. I actually don't even know if I have their address. I'm going to look for that later, but that's not the point. The point is not to mail it to them. That's just a little cherry on the ice cream, cherry on top. The point is to reflect on this person's contribution to your life and write a little short gratitude piece. And there's a hidden piece there, which is that you're taking your thoughts that are usually, at least that's what is very effective for me, is these are usually thoughts that are just running through my mind. Oh, there's a teacher I really like, and that's all I say if I'm talking about this. But what I really mean is that there's a lot behind it. And this is an opportunity for me to sort of condense it down to a narrative sense, right? So, and there's some value in that. You really get to crystallize your thoughts, and in that process, you get to learn who you are. You may realize, as I was writing these points down, I started with saying I admire your teaching, to then getting to the point where how they really helped me, which is that they demystified something that was really complex. So then I realized something about me as I write this, is that simplifying complexity is important for me, and I really cherish the people who do that for me, who help me along that process. So now I have a little insight on myself, and I can kind of seek that as I'm going through my life. And then I talk about a few specific things that I liked, even though saw this teacher's videos for many years. There's a few things that really stood out, that stand out to me even today, and I'm going to kind of call those out. As I'm talking about this, this is not prepared, and these are not my writing notes, but as I'm talking about this, I realize that there's another meaning that I'm finding in this activity of writing this letter to a teacher, which is a lot of teachers, at least in my life, are online only. These are teachers I know only through a web interface. I've never seen them in person, and often they are asynchronous teaching, meaning I'm not attending a live meeting or session with them. These are recorded lectures that I'm watching at my own pace and my own time, often years after they were recorded. So these teachers are talking into a camera, probably with a crew, and they're never really getting to see their students. And I like to teach to people who work with me, and I think there's a lot of value when I see those people that I'm teaching to kind of reciprocate and show me what they're learning, how they're learning it, why they find it valuable. But when in this day and age of Zoom classes or recorded lectures, the teachers don't never get that feedback, right? The real value they're adding into the world. They never really get somebody coming back to them and telling them that, hey, this was really valuable, other than maybe comments on their website. So I think there's a real nice way to close the loop there and show them in a very tangible way how their teaching has helped us years later, continues to help us. And I think that's a really nice gesture to show, especially important in a day when we're not seeing most of our teachers face to face. So I'll pause here, and there'll be about a 30-minute window. You'll watch me kind of writing on this desk, and that's the prompt for you to write the letter to yourself. So you can pause the video here, go gather your materials, gather your thoughts if you want to do that ahead of time, or just use these 30 minutes to think about that teacher you want to write about and write down bullet points, just some scribbles, stream of consciousness, whichever way you like. But it's 30 minutes uninterrupted session for you to kind of get your thoughts congealed, crystallized, and find some of that space where you can be grateful for the work these teachers did for you. So I'll see you on the other side of those 30 minutes. Okay, welcome back. After the 30 minutes of writing, so hopefully you got some motivation to write to somebody. Maybe you thought of a teacher that was really influential for you, and maybe it was just a journal entry for you, and that's also okay. If you just wrote bullet points, that's okay too. I'll take a quick minute here to kind of talk about what I wrote and who I wrote to, and I'd love to hear from you in the comments who you wrote to if you're willing to share. So I wrote to a woodworker named Paul Sellers. He's pretty famous on YouTube, but I discovered him when he was still pretty small. And then he since then has started a woodworking masterclass kind of channel, this kind of a paid subscription thing, and that's why I'm calling him a teacher. I've never really met him in person, though he did do a few in-person classes that I never had a chance to attend, and then he moved to Oxford, and I've never obviously haven't had a chance, not obviously, but I haven't had a chance to go there and work with him. So I've only attended his classes, and this is something I did about 10 years ago, maybe a little bit longer. So I don't do any woodworking anymore. However, I remember there being a formative time for me as I was exploring the idea of arts and crafts, because I'm an engineer, and my day job is working on the computer, working in spreadsheets, and then I do get to see the fruits of what I design and so on sometimes, but for the most part, I would say 90% of my work happens on the computer. So I just really wrote to him about that, saying how he influenced me to use my hands and get into crafts, and almost demystifying this world of hand tool woodworking, which is a little bit different than sort of a power tool or machine tool woodworking, which is what a majority of the people do. I was attracted to the hand tool side of it. And I'll leave you with one blurb towards the end, which I think was poignant here, is that I said that I realized this in the last few years, but it's taken me a long time to get there, because I was always looking for teachers like Paul Sellers, and I would hop from hobby to hobby, going for the next thing, because it wasn't really the hobby that I was after. I was really after the teachers who were showing sort of a sense of ease. So they were highly skilled, but they were also like really easygoing about their skills. So there was this really cool sense of ease about them. They were not super egotistical. They were just creating this atmosphere where everything was just easy. And I was really attracted to that side because I grew up in a very competitive time. So worrying and being anxious about outcomes and those kind of things is prevalent in really this society, but really it was in my life growing up too. So I did not know it at that time, but I was looking for teachers who exhibited that sense of ease, and I was hoping to have some of that in my life. And then over the years, obviously, as I came to realize that is what I was after, I started to bring more and more ease into my life, and I think I've gotten better about it. So I wrote about that over here because he and teachers like him gave me an ideal to pursue, and that was a very formative time for me to kind of become who I am today. So anyway, I'll leave you with that. That is one kind of a key point I wrote in my letter. You probably saw me putting the envelope and everything together. I still need to look for his address. I know he has a shop or a class or a school where he teaches this, so there's probably a PO box or something that I could probably mail this to, so I'll look for that next. But yeah, let me know in the comments who you chose to write to, and what is maybe one thing this teacher did for you that made you remember this teacher over the years. So I'll leave you to that, and hope you had fun writing this letter with me today. I'll see you in the next video.